Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Sensible Truth on the Medlock Post. This is episode 6. Today we're going to talk about the wisdom of George Washington. And he was a very wise and inspired founder of this country, one of the leading founders, first president. So here we are on Friday, the last Friday in June, a week away from the summer solstice, and a week away from July 4th, the anniversary of this country coming to be. Now, this is the 249th anniversary. Next year, we'll be celebrating the 250th anniversary of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, to put things into perspective, this, guess what? This country has no equal around the world. It doesn't. See, there's George Washington sitting there. He's looking at us. He's staring at you, folks. He's going like, what are you guys thinking? Let's go back. Oops. Go back up here. Here we are, Sensible Truth. Now, we are here to lift, inspire, encourage, and empower. And I am your host, Richard G. Medlock, in case you didn't know that. So this is where we are today. Having fun, getting back on the saddle and doing our podcast. You can find us on YouTube now, X. We post there, Medlock Post, blogspot.com. We post them there. On Truth Social and on Facebook. So we're trying to be all over the place. Still trying to work with Spotify. It's not that simple with them. And we'll go from there. But still working with them, try to get on there. But a couple of things. Did you guys see this news about this meteorite yesterday? This is amazing. You don't see this that often. You see them normally. It's like a little shower type thing, because shooting stars type thing, because they've already broken up when they hit the atmosphere. This thing didn't completely. This one burned up all the way down. They said in this picture, right before it hit, it was traveling about 30,000 miles per hour. Now, I wonder how big this thing was when it came into the atmosphere. Haven't seen anything yet. But it did not hit the ground in one piece. It was what, a quarter of a mile, half a mile, something like that, above the earth, and it just exploded. Maybe it was a mile. And it just exploded. And they said it was like the equivalent of a 20-ton bomb going off. And people could hear the boom for miles. So then everything else scattered and landed. This is in north central Georgia. But we could see it up here in upstate South Carolina. So it was an amazing feat. Wonderful thing. Nature. And then this. Former McDonald's employee saves free world from Iranian nuclear threat. Yeah, I saw that. I said, people, they know how to do this stuff, folks. This is genius, pulling this off right here. Okay. Now, George Washington. Now, if you've never studied his life, his writings, if you've never even read his inauguration and speeches when he was leaving office or any of his stuff, you're missing out. You're missing out. We're going to kind of refer to some of that as we go along here. But George Washington had a quote, and he said, quote, "It is much easier at times to prevent an evil than to rectify mistakes." And then he goes on and says, "It is infinitely better to have a few good men than many indifferent ones." Now, this statement steeped in practicality and ethical consideration. It offers valuable lessons to leadership, governance, and I keep getting behind myself. Ethical consideration offers valuable lessons for leadership, governance, and personal conduct. Now, just think about those two little lines. It's much easier at times to prevent. So he's talking about being proactive here. Proactive. We might talk about some situations that he would approve of being proactive. And then a few good men, not just a bunch, a few good. All right. So preventing evil versus rectifying mistakes. Well, Washington's assertion that it is easier to prevent evil than to rectify mistakes speaks volumes about importance of foresight and proactive measures. Foresight, looking ahead, understanding history, understanding what's going on. And we've had leaders that do that very well, and others really basically just cause the problems. So this principle is crucial in various aspects of life, from personal decisions to public policy. Everything. Preventative measures often require less effort, fewer resources, and less emotional strain compared to the arduous task. I'm just messing it up everything today. Preventative measures often require less effort, fewer resources, and less emotional strain compared to the arduous task of correcting errors as they have occurred. Now, in the context of governance, this wisdom is particularly relevant in governance. Policymakers and leaders are tasked with the responsibility of safeguarding the well-being of their constituents. Read the preamble of the Constitution. And that's what it's talking about, is safeguarding the well-being of their constituents, or we, the people. Read the preamble. And then by implementing sound policies and regulations that preempt potential issues, they can avoid the complexities and repercussions of having to address problems once they have escalated. History is replete with examples where a lack of preventative measures led to significant crises, reminding us of the critical need for anticipatory action. Now, I know you're all sitting there thinking the Middle East, Iran. Iran could have been stopped years ago. But you had people that were in their favor, supporting them, empowering them to do what they did. But then here comes a proactive leader. Enough is enough. So let's talk about a proactive leadership. A leader who anticipates challenges and acts to prevent them demonstrates a higher level of confidence, competence, and responsibility. George Washington himself exemplified this proactive leadership during his tenure. His emphasis on a strong national defense, his caution against his caution against entangling alliances and his advocacy for national unity were all measures aimed at preventing foreseeable conflicts and issues. Strong national peace through strength. This has been proven over and over, and it's being proven again today. He cautioned against entangling alliances. Oh my gosh, have we got tangled up with the World Health Organization and the World Economic Forum and the UN and other organizations out there that wanted a one world government, no borders. I mean, look what happened in the European Union. You used to have individual countries. Then they formed the European Union. And basically the borders that didn't exist anymore. And on a planned situation, massive immigration into the EU. They used to call it multiculturalism. Now we can't repeat on the air what they call it. But this was those that wanted to control the world. They're proactive. But there was leadership in the EU that could not foresee this. They thought it would save them money. It's costing them more money than they have. So proactive leadership is not limited to political realms. In business, leaders foresee market trends and adapt their strategies according, can steer their companies away from potential pitfalls. In personal life, individuals who plan ahead and consider the consequences of their actions are better equipped to avoid detrimental mistakes. Now, in business, you have always got to be looking ahead. You got to be looking at what's going on around you, what's your competition doing, what's going on with hiring, on and on and on. And if you don't stay ahead of that, it will catch up to you. And we've seen that trend over and over where companies make it and some don't. And some don't know how to handle competition. Now, an individual or family that plans ahead and considers the consequences of their actions are better equipped to avoid detrimental mistakes. Now, things are going to happen, but you can avoid a lot of them. Now, you have no control of what other people do, but you can control what you do. So, the value of good men. Let's take a look at this. So, the second part of Washington's quote underscores the importance of quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. There's a saying that says, if you want to look at a good leader, look at the people he surrounds himself with. Now, we don't have to look for. We can look at the last administration for the last 4 years and the administration we have today to understand that completely. You don't have to look for. Quality over quantity. Now, values of integrity, competence, and dedication in individuals is infinitely better to have a few good men than many indifferent ones. Integrity, competence, dedication, commitment, foresight, willing to listen, willing to work with a group. When I train corporations in building teams and managing teams, These all came into play. I'd rather have a team of 4 or 5 people than 12 people, and 8 of them weren't worth anything because they're just going to drag everybody else down. The 4 end up doing all the work, and the others just take credit when it's all done. They drag it out, it costs more, and probably not as good as it should have been. So look at those things. Look at them. In any collaborative endeavor, the collective strength and success are often determined by the quality of its members. Now, a small group of highly capable and committed individuals can achieve far more than a larger group of indifferent or mediocre participants. So this principle is evident in various facets of life. Building effective teams, just mention that. In the professional world, assembling a team of talented and motivated individuals is crucial for achieving organizational goals. While it might be tempting to focus on numbers, the effectiveness of a team hinges on its skills, creativity, and work ethic of its members. A few dedicated professionals can drive innovation, foster a positive work environment, and deliver outstanding results. When you're putting together a team, you don't want people that are good at the same thing. You need different strengths on that team. Different strengths. They might have weaknesses in some areas. What one guy is very good at, another guy is not that good. But he's really strong at a part of the puzzle that will help put it together. It's not like you're out there on the play field choosing football teams or a ball team or dodgeball team. You pick all your friends, but they're terrible players. Next is governance and public service. In governance, having a cadre of dedicated and competent public servants is vital for the effective administration of policies and services. And last, not only dedicated and competent, but in the United States, we stay patriotic, that love the Constitution, that love this land. So leaders who prioritize the recruitment and development of capable individuals can ensure that public institutions function efficiently and ethically. This approach fosters trust and confidence among citizens, leading to a more stable and prosperous society. Now, our founding fathers understood this. And we can sit here today, and that last sentence is blown out the window in a lot of instances right now. DOGE has uncovered so many corrupt things happening in the government, costing us trillions of dollars. It's going to take us years to straighten this out. So the public loses trust in the government. But those that are making money off this folly, this corruption, they don't care. There's a news article this morning that the head of the Small Business Administration, of course, under you said, they found just billions of dollars worth of waste. 4 guys have already admitted they've been sentenced to jail. And she's saying that's tip of the iceberg. They're going in and auditing every person that gives loans. They're going to shut this down. Personal relationships. Even in personal relationships, the quality of individuals we surround ourselves with can significantly impact our well-being and growth. Nurturing relationships with people who exhibit, excuse me, who exhibit integrity, empathy, and support can enrich our lives and help us navigate challenges. Conversely, being surrounded by indifferent or negative influences can hinder our progress and happiness, and sometimes could end you up in jail. So let's leave it there for a minute. So George Washington's wisdom is timeless and transcends historical context. While his quote was shaped by the political and social realities of his times, its relevance endures in our contemporary society. Today, we face myriad of challenges that require foresight, proactive measures, and the involvement of capable individuals. We can see from last administration to this administration, not capable versus capable, what has happened in 5, 6 months. Major turnaround, majorly taking care of problems. In an era marked by rapid technological advances, global interconnectedness, and complex socio-political dynamics, the need for preventative action and the value of competent individuals are more critical than ever. From addressing climate change and public health crises to ensuring cybersecurity and social justice, the principles articulated by Washington continue to guide us. Now, go out there and talk to a member of a SEAL team, or a former member, or an Army Ranger, and talk to them about these principles. You will understand this like you've never understood it before. They understand this. That's why they train hard. They work together. They become one. They do. They become one. And no man left behind. Now, in his quote, it is much easier at all times to prevent an evil than to rectify mistakes. It is infinitely better to have a few good men than many indifferent ones. This, ladies and gentlemen, encapsulates profound truths about leadership, governance, and personal conduct. By emphasizing the importance of preventative measures and the value of quality over quantity in human resources, Washington provides timeless guidance for navigating complexities of life. As we reflect on his wisdom, we are reminded of the enduring relevance of proactive leadership and the indispensable role of capable individuals in achieving meaningful progress. In honoring these principles, we can strive to create a better future for ourselves and for our generations to come. All right, George Washington. Now, I want to throw in this one little story. I love this, whether it's true or not. The point is really good. But there was a class reunion. So at a class reunion, a group of successful alumni, now doctors, lawyers, business owners, decided to visit their old professor. They chatted about their careers and families, but soon the conversation shifted to life's pressures, stress, and constant chasing after more. Now watch how this plays into what we've been talking about from George Washington. After listening for a while, the professor smiled and said, "Hold on a minute, I'll go make us some coffee." He came back with a large pot and tray full of cups, none of them matching. Some were fine porcelain, others were plain ceramic. A few were chipped glass mugs, and even one looked like it came from a diner. And then there's nothing wrong. Diner cups are great. As everyone reached for a cup, the professor watched in silence. Once they all had coffee in hand, he said, "Notice what just happened? Most of you instinctively reached for the nicest cups, leaving behind the simpler ones. It's normal to want the best for ourselves, but that's not often where the stress begins. He gestured toward the cups. The cup doesn't make the coffee taste any better. What you really wanted was the coffee, but you still focused on the cup. Then he paused. Life is the coffee. Your job, your house, your income, your status, those are just cups. They help contain life, but they don't define it. And the trouble is, the more we focus on the cup, the more we miss out on the coffee. The professor smiled and finished. Remember, happy people don't always have the best of everything, but they know how to make the best of what they have. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Medlock post for this day, Sensible Truth on the Medlock post, to lift, inspire, encourage, and empower. I hope we've given you some words to consider, some things to think about from George Washington and this old college professor. I can relate to that. So, little points, little stories, little emphasis on things. What's the most important things in your life? I'm going to leave you with that question. What matters most to you in your life? Who's the most important people in your life? Take a look at that. And with that, Richard G. Medlock is going to sign off with a howdy ho and a good day to you. Have a great weekend.